When I was planning on making this video, I was thinking I had a plastic case stereo. And it turns out it's metal. It's cold out. And it's plastic. I was just going to smash it out of there for you because it's got this big old motor in there. That's probably about 7-pound motor. It's got a big chunk of aluminum in there. But if it was a plastic case, I would just smash it down on a corner and let that weight of that big motor in there act like a wrecking ball. And just, you know, it would just bust through that plastic and just rip the whole thing apart. But this is metal, so it might not work, but I'm gonna show it to you anyways. If it was plastic, it would just, and being cold out, it would just shatter and it would just open right up. But we'll try it with this metal on and see what happens. You just want to bust it like on the corners, you know, you want to hit it right there. See, it's not going to work because it's metal. So I'm just going to have to take these little screws out. You know, it's got about 8 of these little screws around it, maybe 10. You have to just loosen them up. But actually, I could probably. Actually, it'll probably come out of there if I really wanted it to. So I guess it's going to work, but you know, if it was plastic, it would just, on that first or second throw, it just open right up and you can just grab that stuff out of there. You know, but watch out, Chris. I'll probably just get on it and do that, you know, but anyways, I think you get the idea. Some of those screws did actually pop off of there. If I kept doing that, it would all come loose, but I'm going to take the screwdriver to it. Take the rest of the screws out, just take that out there. Pull that out there, and what you're dealing with is that big old motor, and you got 4 more screws to take out. That's a nice piece of aluminum right there. But, you know, so that's pretty quick. You know, you can imagine if that was plastic shell, it would just would have been over on that first toss or two. Definitely by the second toss, and you know, you would just grab this out of there. I just had 4 screws to take out to get that motor, and another, looks like 2 screws to get that aluminum out. And then there's another little, just want to do it like that. That's, the circuit board's not worth anything hardly. You know, I just take there's no gold plate or nothing on that. And a couple little chips, I suppose, if you want to get into that, you could keep them. But that's just low-grade copper wire. Circuit boards and these things, you know, they're not worth anything. You know, these are made out of aluminum. These little dudes here. Those little dudes. You get dirty aluminum for those, or aluminum breakage. But they're really lightweight, so I'll probably just take that motor and that piece of aluminum and take them circuit boards. And, you know, if it's just a little bit of circuit boards, you can usually just throw it in your tin pile. Scrapyards generally won't care unless you got a real picky place, you know. Just ask the scrapyards how to do that kind of stuff, you know, if it's all right or not. But you know, if not, the circuit boards will go as, you know, eWaste would be like today's price, about 2 pounds or 2 cents a pound. You know, and I just, all the rest of this case just go in the tin pile. As you can see, that's a pretty valuable little guy right there. It's not real heavy, but you know, you throw that in with your aluminum. That's not a bad little piece. And that's the guy I was mainly after. You know, that's probably a good 7 pounds, I'd say. And so that's not too bad. And a lot of times you want to check. Sometimes they're actually aluminum wires, but I think that was probably copper. You know, scrapyard will tell you what's what if they really want to. And there's not a lot of price between, like, if that was aluminum wire, it'd be aluminum breakage for that. And there's not a huge difference between price for aluminum breakage and clean electric motors. It's by today's prices anyway. But they just throw that in with your motors. You know, that's a scrapyard, what's what, you know. A lot of scrapyards do things different than other scrapyards, so it's always a good idea anyways to, you know, get a specific scrapyard's information, you know, see how they like to do things, you know. But either way, that's your little nugget right there. You could just take that whole thing to the scrapyard, you know, being it had a metal cast, and you could probably just get tin for the whole thing. You know, you get the tin price for the whole thing. You don't even have to really take anything apart. Some places might make you take them circuit boards out, but most places you could just throw that whole metal case stereo in with your tin pile and they'll let it slide. But, you know, if you want to get a little extra scratch, just takes a couple minutes doing it like that. And if it was a plastic case, I'd have been in and out there in less than a minute, you know. Of course, you always want to clean up after yourself and be done with it. Forgot to say that, you know, it doesn't have to be cold outside to get those plastic case stereos and stuff open. You know, if it's made of plastic, it could be the middle of summer and 100 degrees and they'll bust open just about the same, but you know, it might have a little more strength to it. But in the wintertime, it's like a hot knife through butter, you know.